So I bought this at Five Below. It was just a very inexpensive. It was $5, but it was the paper was not very thick, just normal, you know, pencil sketchbook paper. But I did a lot of, my art journal was very mixed media. I did a lot of layering. I did a lot of painting. I did a lot of collage work. So I did glue papers together. So in the beginning, I glued maybe 4 or 5 sheets of paper together, and I realized the more I went along that I wasn't using the right kind of adhesives. I used Mod Podge to begin with, and I am not an expert at art journaling or junk journaling or anything like that. I am learning as I'm going and doing this, and I am just finding all of the different types of things that I like, which is exactly what I wanted, exactly how I wanted this journey to go. So I just, started it with here's the year 2024. I did some stickers. I did I just collaged. I dropped accidentally alcohol ink. I was trying to do a plate stamp, and it did not work out the way I wanted to, but it's my art journal, and so now it is what it is. So this is how I started my art journal. I did some stamping, some stickers, some papers, and then I ended up, so I did use Mod Podge for gluing the pages down, and I glued 3 or 4 pages together, and I didn't really like that effect. I did that on the first couple of spreads, and I didn't really like that. And then I watched some YouTube videos on junk journaling and art journaling and altered books and things like that, and I learned that what I should have been using is this gloss medium. So that this is the best adhesive to use when you're gluing pages down together. And since these pages were so thin, I needed a stronger substrate to use to be able to collage and just do the mixed media that I'm trying to accomplish this year. So after I made these mistakes, I learned going forward, obviously, and I just kind of kept going just with what I was doing. So this is just my January, my month page saying what month it was, and it was kind of collagey. So I put something. So I tried to draw January. I didn't like how it looked. And I was like, oh, I have these stickers, so let's collage it and put stickers on there. Because while I can do drawing, lettering is not my greatest strength. And lettering is hard. And when you don't have very good handwriting already, it's, it is what it is. So I use stickers, which, hey, do what you got to do. And then I glued down, so I printed out my calendar and I wrote out my days for my prompts. And then I think I did every prompt but one. So the only one I didn't do was the flower, and I think 30 days getting 30 days of prompts in was good enough. So this was basically, I printed out a calendar. I just got one off of Google and printed it. So my first prompt was vision board. So I had started this in a different journal and decided I didn't like that. I was going to make my book, so I was going to do my pages and then put them together as a signature in a book. But then I'm not really good at that, so I still need to practice with that kind of stuff. So then I decided, okay, I'm just gonna take these pages and put them in this, and then I will work up to making my home book. So this is kind of, you know, I pulled out these pages and then I put them in, and then I added some embellishments that I had purchased on Etsy, along with some other stuff that I wanted as my vision, kind of my vision board, where, you know, my art is more what I want to focus on, being more confident in my art, and just my vision for 2024. So the next spread was my word for the year, which my word for this year is clarity, which I want to have more clarity and more vision towards my art, and more clarity in where I want to move towards in my art, and what I want to get out of my art, and that, you know, everything, not just my art, but my life in general. I just want more clarity and more peace of mind. And so this was my word for the year. And clarity, when I think of clarity, I think of seeing things more clearly. So eyes were a big focus for me in this with my word of the year. So my next prompt was new beginnings, and this year 2024 is the year of the dragon. So I actually had a coloring book that had a dragon in it, so I cut that out, I painted and then pasted it in, and then I painted it with acrylic paint after, I did the layer of painting on my pages, and then I did some writing because it's an art journal. I kind of, threw some words in there, and it's the year of the dragon. Day 4 was dots. This one was pretty simple. I actually had a lot of fun doing this one because I used my my acrylic ink or acrylic pens, paint pens, to make the dots in this after I just threw down a layer of paint. So when I first started, I glued together a bunch of pages, and then I went through and threw down paint on like 5 or 6 days worth of pages. And then when I would come back to that day, so this was dots, and I didn't have blank white pages to work with. So then I just put some dots in, and I left this to where if I wanted to go back and add something to it, I can. So, maybe I'll be thinking of something else later, and I can go back and I can add to this. And that's always okay. That's, it's your journal. It's my journal. I can do what I want. And so this, I feel like if I wanted to add something to this, I can. So then my next was my hopes for 2024. And these are kind of collage. And I wanted it to be kind of vague. Kind of, if somebody like looked at this, they wouldn't really understand. And that's okay, because I understand it. When I read it, I'm like, yes, I know this is, I look at this mirror on the wall, and I know, okay, I want this to be my villain era. I want this to be about me and what makes me happy, and I'm going to be, for want of a better word, selfish this year, and I'm going to do what makes me happy in it with my art and with my life and everything. And I want magic to come into my life, and I just want this year to be magical and full of love, and I want to be kind to my mental health and just have vision and be the best person I can be this year. So my next spread was to redo an old spread. So in October, I did a whole board book journal with another, I followed along with another creator, Molly Roberts, and she did a whole board book on her Patreon and her YouTube. And so I did that. Well, this was one of the spreads that I redid from that book. and it's just one of the spreads. It was Web of Weird, and there's spiders, and so I practiced with lino cuts. This was my first time trying to do lino cuts, so these were lino cut stamps, the spiders. And then I printed out a web, and then I cut it out, and then, you know, just put some stickers in and some paint down. And it, you know, this was just different. Everything on here, other than the background paint, is different than what I'm used to doing. And so this spread was the color blue. So I did different shades of blue. I printed out pictures. I did washi tape. The background I painted, so it's just a great big mixture of different, and then I put shades of blue and ink. And then I wrote over it in acrylic paint pen to just add some depth to it, because I was like, I just glued a bunch of pages in. This was Doodle. And actually the background of this was basically me. I had extra paint from a different, something different that I was working on. And I was like, oh, let me just wipe that paint on my pages so that I could just get something so it wouldn't be just a white background. And then I just went in and just doodled. So this one is, it was draw in the style of your favorite artist. Now, when you see this is definitely not anything like my favorite artist would draw, but it was what I did late at night after I had gotten off a long day, and I thought this was kind of maybe if she had a sketchbook. So Talia Stanton is one of my favorite artists right now, and she is who inspired me to get more into mixed media. I love doing mixed media, and this was kind of my interpretation of things that she's drawn, and this was kind of supposed to be a flower. I didn't really, you know, flesh this out. I kind of just put it in there and then just made marks on the page, and then kind of drew the vague outline of a person with the vague outline of a flower. But my inspiration came from her art, and it's amazing. If you don't know her, go follow her, because she's awesome. The next is stamped. So this is every stamp that I own. I just stamped it on the page because that was the thing. Stamps. My next one was arrows. So I, again, just laid down paint for the background, and then just drew arrows. I mean, this is abstract. This was just abstract. This was, I added paint to it myself, but this was also scrapbook paper. So I put scrapbook paper down, which was already in an abstract pattern, and then I added some paint to it as well. So this one is flowers. So this is very collage work, a lot of collage work. I did add paint to the background, and then I put collage over it. There's some stickers, but this was, I was experimenting with different ways to collage and flowers and different compositions with the flowers. This was circles. So I did cool tone circles on one side and warm tone circles on the other. And this was just, when I was doing this, I just let my mind wander. There was no thoughts to it or anything. Yellow. Self-explanatory. I used every bit of yellow medium that I had. So there is markers, there's crayons, there is oil pastels, there is acrylic paint, oil paint, pencils, markers, everything, washi tape. It's all on here. This was a self-portrait. So I cut out a picture. I printed out a picture of myself, and I just like the fact that one side of my face, if you took only one half, it looked different. Like it just looked different because of the way I had my hair done that day. So I cut it in half, posted and print, and just put it onto different backgrounds. This was collage so this was a painting that I did, a watercolor painting that I did, and I printed it I printed it out and put it in here. These were collage papers that I made. This was again another so this was another scrapbook page that I just cut out, and I just added to this, and then I painted the background. There's some washi tape on here so that the paint wouldn't stick. This date was quotes. So one of my favorite quotes is, "I became insane with long intervals of horrible sanity," which is Edgar Allan Poe, which he's one of my favorite poets, short story authors, in general. I just really like him. So this is one I feel like I kind of just phoned it in. It was snowflakes was the prompt, and I just put a bunch of stickers of snowflakes. I mean, I drew some snowflake-ish marks on the page, but it was really just a bunch of stickers. And then I started getting to where I was like, I can't do the full pages. Sometimes I'm just not feeling the whole page. So this one was Mittens. This is also a painting that I had done for Christmas. I did a bunch of postcard watercolor paintings, and so I made a print of it and posted it in this on this page. So, you can use your own old artwork and things. The prompt was ghosts, and I tried using these. They're like ceramic tile things. I don't know. I got them at the dollar store, and I thought they were pretty cool. And I wanted it to look like two ghosts were like talking to each other. And I ended up making it really yellow and greenish. That's not really what I wanted, but I wanted it to like stand out but not be one-dimensional with the white. But then I wanted to kind of use oil pastels, but the white didn't show up. So, trial and error. And then these are some more of my previous drawings that I added. Cactus was the prompt. The prompt for this was black and white, so I did a bunch of just mark making. I did glue some pages down from a magazine that I had used for a different project. I had some like grayish pages, so they were, more black and white. I just wrote across it. I did some washi tape on there. I had some keyboard washi tape, like piano keys washi tape. This has a very 90s feel to me. Late 80s, 90s feel. But it was, black and white was the prompt. Pizza was the prompt for this one. So pizza is life. I just kind of cut out some ephemera and some cutouts that I found on Pinterest. Some pictures. This one was my greatest. The one thing I'm grateful for, and that is having my own home. So I just, put pictures of my house, and I kind of just said the one thing I'm grateful for and what it is that I'm grateful for. This one is my favorite color, and I say colors because I like a spectrum of colors. So at the moment, really all the time. It's more on the cool side of the spectrum. So cooler colors. I like cool toned colors. I'm not very a warm tone color person, but I do use them. I prefer the cooler tones, but right now I'm more into the blue side of the spectrum. Blue all the way to the black, the greens, that kind of, being my favorite color right now. This page was red. So I had some ephemera, again, from Molly Roberts that I had printed out from her, and I just put down and glued down in my book, and I did every red medium that I had. So paint, markers. I have some India ink markers. I had pens, and then the coal erase pencils, which I love to sketch with. So I used that. This one was Under the Sea, so I kind of drew whale, mermaid type thing. And this was just because I had paint left over from the other page of my favorite color. So if you can see, it's kind of the same color scheme. I just had leftover paint, so I was like, oh, let me go ahead and just use that up. This one is birds. So I just did a lot of cutouts of birds. So these are ephemera that I purchased, and these are just some pictures that I had downloaded of birds. And then the last was upside down, and all I did was turn my book upside down, and I just made some marks on it and wrote the word upside down. And I really think that this was, a good segue for me to realize how I want my journals to be, what I'm actually trying to accomplish with them, what time I need for them to put in. I can see which spreads I liked and how much time it took me to make those spreads, as opposed to the spreads I don't really like that I kind of just did really fast and in a hurry just because I was like, well, I need to get these done. So I'm very happy that I did this, and I am doing February, and I will post the prompts if you want to go along with me. I'm actually posting the pictures on Threads, so if you want to follow me on there, I will post the pictures every day with the for that prompt, but I will also make sure I post the prompts. But I will also put the videos here so that you can watch every day what I'm doing in my process, in my, and some days they may be phoned in, and some days they may be elaborate. But February, I am going to make more time to put into my art journal because I really did enjoy doing this. It was so much fun, and I am just looking forward to the next couple of months. So I made the prompts myself for February, so I feel like I will be more inspired by them than just finding prompts on Pinterest that I really wasn't feeling, or really wasn't, I didn't, when it came to that day, I was just like, I don't really want to do that, so I would think of something different to do. But for February, I have thought out every day, and each day I have made a prompt that I feel is inspired by the month of February. So we'll see what that brings us, and I really hope you can join me and follow along. Bye.